The Overtime Elite, a brand that has built their name up to the point to where they have their own team, can have their own game, known for their highlights and young high school prospect highlights, and just having highlights on social media of just really cool things. They have now built their brand up to now be a team in Orlando, Florida, and have their own facility called the Supreme Center. You'll see that soon, market size medium. They're just known for their highlights, and the guy that's known for their highlights and youthfulness is Ja Morant. Ja Morant plays for the Grizzlies currently in reality, but for the Overtime Elite, he's just a perfect fit because he's just reckless and he is willing to get the highlight no matter what. It's almost scary how reckless he is with his body. He's willing to sacrifice his body to end your career. It's kind of crazy how he just jumps up in the air. I mean, if he was highly touted in high school, he probably have some Overtime Elite high school clips, but he wasn't until he went to college in Murray State, and then he was drafted number 2 in the NBA draft. And then after that, we all realized this man is a highlight reel. This man, he does it. He's willing to do it. Any angle just looks crazy because he's just jumping up and killing it. Eddie Jones was pretty much the blueprint for Kobe Bryant before Kobe Bryant was on the Lakers. When he was in high school and they were thinking about drafting someone, they wanted to get someone a little bit cheaper that does the same thing that Eddie Jones does because he went to the rim with recklessness. And that was what a young Kobe did. He can shoot though. He can dribble. He played the 2. You know, he was 6'6", kind of wiry. It's pretty much the same build as Kobe Bryant. But just, he was there before Shaq. He was there before Kobe. And he was the guy scoring over 20. Grant Hill, just like Ja Morant, is one of the favorites of the youth. He was one of the favorites of the youth. Had plenty of commercials. Inspired a lot of people when he was healthy, and just created a lot of highlights. People knew him for going to the rim, and whoever was in the way, it didn't matter. He was 6'8", 215, and it just didn't matter. He had hops. He can dribble. He had a lot of mid-range. Just a little bit of three-point. Wasn't really necessary. And really, he would just give you a little shake and hit the rim. And Grant Hill just wasn't a super trash talker, so he didn't really have a bad boy image. But he would give you a look. Larry Johnson, also known as Grandmama. Why? Because he was in a episode of Family Matters in season 5, episode 7. Urkel was looking for a partner to team up with. He asked his grandma. She had a friend, and this is Grandmama. And basically, he ended up playing with Larry Johnson. You know, it's Winslow right there. He's 6'8", 240. Had his own shoe with Converse. He turned Grandmama into a brand. And it's just funny with the young people, you know. Like, back then, you know, the high schoolers loved it, I guess. So, this is 91, 96. He was in the 91 or 92, I think, dunk contest. So people knew him for dunking. People knew him for athleticism. Oh yeah, the 92 dunk contest in Orlando. people just knew him for being rowdy and just he had his own symbol he did with the L, and people loved him. He was a people's champ. Elton Brand, I'm not going to bore you with his highlights, I'm not going to lie. 6'9", 260, doesn't really jump, doesn't really dunk too much. Just very fundamental. Gerald Wallace, also known as Crash. Why do they call him Crash? Because it's the same thing as Ja Morant. He's been on a few more teams than Ja, but at the end of the day, he just goes to the rim with reckless abandon. And whoever is under the rim or near the rim, if you're really trying to do something, just be careful what you do. Because Gerald Wallace doesn't care what you do, actually. So he's 6'7", 220, came from a small school from the South. You know, he dunks. He doesn't really dribble well. Not really a passer guy. Not really too much of a playmaker, but 3-and-D, one of the original 3-and-D guys before that term was really coined. Just shoot threes, block, defense. Jason Williams, a.k.a. White Chocolate. His nickname will be on the back on 2K. It's automatic for him. They gave him that nickname. There was a street baller named White Chocolate that was actually a white guy who was shorter, but in the NBA, this is White Chocolate. Why? Because he has so much soul to his game, so much vision. He had Magic Johnson type vision, and he would pass the ball like Bob Cousy. And it's like some Pete Maravich type shit. But he's 6'1", and it's actually kind of country, you know. I think he's from West Virginia. Oh no, he's from Florida, excuse me. So he's just one of those guys that just makes, passes the ball. He won a championship with Dwayne Wade on the Heat. Played for a few teams like the Kings and the Grizzlies, the Heat. But he's just a guy that you want on your team to facilitate. Mo Bamba, best known for his cousin song, Mo Bamba. He's 7 foot. He can shoot. That's about it. Jalen Brunson. Now, Jalen Brunson isn't really known for what he does on the court, but if there's like a 24-hour loop of Jalen Brunson's highlights, I swear I'll just be mesmerized watching it, because I just don't know how he just keeps scoring. Like, it's really weird. Like, if you can just like watch him, you'll just be staring at the screen like, how does he just do that? All right, so Seth Curry, Steph Curry's brother, not as good as Steph Curry, but can shoot very well. Roy Hachimura from Japan, 6'8", power forward, 230, well-rounded, can shoot and all that. Nerlens Noel, 6'11", center, veteran. Rebounds, blocks, that's it. Jalen Green, straight out of the NBA G League Ignite. These are overtime highlights that he got. He's privileged enough to have overtime highlights from high school. He's basically just out of high school. I mean, yeah, he's a year removed from it, but he plays for the Rockets now, and his hair is much longer, and he's just now getting it. It's towards the end of the season. He's getting playing time, you know, COVID and all that stuff, and he's actually doing pretty well now. He's getting like 20 points in games and stuff like that. It's getting to the point to where Jalen Green is starting to develop. You can tell. Corey Kispert, another young guy, plays with a headband, shoots the ball.
Guys, it's been about the same thing for us the entire year.
This
it's
is
been
Billy
about us
Donovan.
becoming the best team we can be.
He won a championship.
Tonight is not about the past, and
in
it's
Florida.
not about the future. It's about right now. And you guys have got to want this
Corey
night
Brewer,
to last
Horford,
forever. You got to want to
Noah.
run and play and defend.
He knows how to coach young guys.
You gotta live in
He's
the
a young
moment
guy coach.
and understand there's going to be adversity and there's going to be challenges. That is what's brought us close together as a team, has been the adversity and the challenge. Live in the moment, cherish each moment, and go out there and play as a team.
And he wants to bring another championship to Florida. Nick Van Exel. From those Eddie Jones highlights, I don't know if you can tell, but he was his teammate. Is usually the guy that's a role player. That's pretty good in the manager position. And he's a good assistant coach in real life. Offensive IQ, three-point scoring, layups, passing, and steals are their strengths. Blocks and strength are their weaknesses. I can tell. I'll say strength is low key on there. I don't know about strength. The home uniform, the OTE Elite, OTE basketball on the front, Cactus Jack. Another OTE basketball is the away one, Antisocial Club, connected to Travis Scott. Travis Scott trying to rebrand. How better to rebrand than to rebrand with the youth? OTE got the nickname on the back. It'll say white chocolate for Jason Williams. And their facility, just imagine like a science project, and they're showing you everything else except where the angle that you see in the front. But yeah, that's the facility.